I call the member for Penrith.
Thank you, Speaker. I rise to speak in support of the City of Sydney Bill. And Speaker, it is with great pleasure when I can speak up for democracy in this place. I thank the Minister for Local Government for bringing this bill forward. I'm especially happy that the adults are back in charge and restoring to the residents of the City of Sydney the fundamental democratic principle of one person, one vote. This common sense bill will do away with the requirement for the City of Sydney Council to automatically enrol non-residential electors and businesses against their will. It will in fact restore a voluntary opt-in vote for non-residents as it should be. The bill will repeal Divisions 1, 2 and 4 of Part 3 of the City of Sydney Act, which prescribes the special voting rules for non-residential electors, and make other minor consequential amendments. This will see the City of Sydney subject to the same rules governing voting by non-residential electors prescribed under the Local Government Act 1993 into harmony with all other 127 local government areas. The law was an unashamed attempt to boost the conservative and pro-business vote in the City of Sydney at the expense of the Liberal Party's political opponents, which has backfired monumentally. The legislation has never achieved the intended outcome. Thank goodness. I contacted Councillor Linda Scott, a councillor at the City of Sydney, to seek her feedback on this bill, and she said, "This bill will reverse the undemocratic changes made in 2014 when the former Liberal government granted multiple votes to non-resident business owners in a blatant attempt to suppress the voting power of the voices of the local residents in the City of Sydney." Speaker, under the previous coalition government, the City of Sydney Amendment Elections Act 2014 created a unique voting system specifically for the City of Sydney and the City of Sydney alone. This bill will return democracy and common sense for the residents and businesses for the City of Sydney. Importantly, businesses will still be entitled to register to vote if they choose, as this is the case with every other New South Wales local government election. Businesses will no longer be forced to engage in often unwanted political activity. We can only guess how big businesses like the Commonwealth Bank, Woolworths, McDonald's choose to vote in the past City of Sydney elections. If a corporation or joint owners, lessees or occupiers fail to nominate two electors, then two electors are automatically enrolled in alphabetical order based on their surnames. In effect, these companies were forced to take a political view, often against their wishes. This was unethical and clearly undemocratic. If a corporation or joint owners, lessees or occupiers fail to nominate two electors are automatically enrolled in alphabetical order. I suspect these companies just copped the $55 fine or $110 for the two voters. The previous Liberal government's act was a blatant attempt to engineer a conservative uprising in the City of Sydney, one which never eventuated, thank goodness. It could also be described as a form of gerrymandering without the boundary changes. Introducing this bill is another election commitment delivered by the Minns Labor government. It is a win for democracy and upholds the age-old principle of one vote, one value. Speaker, the requirement under the City of Sydney Act for all non-residential electors to be automatically enrolled makes this a costly and administratively onerous exercise. In other local government areas, only eligible non-residential electors that apply are enrolled. It is the Council's General Manager who is required to keep and maintain the non-residential roll, that electoral information register, and ensure that it is accurate. This is costly and onerous. It has been an outrageous waste of ratepayers' money, and I acknowledge the City of Sydney, the member for Sydney here in the chamber, who will know this quite well. It has been an outrageous waste. The City of Sydney spent $9.7 million to establish the register. It costs approximately $1 million per year to maintain it. The City of Sydney has continually raised concerns about the logistical and operational challenges in maintaining this register and ensuring the information is accurate. The fact is that after the 2021 council elections, 39% of all non-residential voters were issued with apparent failure to vote notices. Complaints to council also skyrocketed. Many of these were people unaware they were required to vote. What an absolute debacle for the council. The bill will also dissolve the nonsense that is the Central Sydney Traffic and Transport Committee, a relic committee that has never even met. Speaker, I commend the bill to the House.